Hey, Michigan Maniacs. This is the Michigan Maniac Podcast, and I am your host, Adam Brewer. This is the Ask Me Anything episode. So before we get into that, guys, let's go ahead and do some housekeeping. Guys, if you want to leave me a 5-star review or just rate 5 stars, whatever you guys want to do, please do it on 2 places. The Spotify now, because I'm older, I have to put the in front of everything. The Spotify does now stars. It makes no sense, but does stars now. So give your boy a 5-star little rating there. Also, Apple Podcasts or iTunes, I think it's the same thing. Go ahead and leave a 5-star review, 5-star rating, whatever you want to do. Hell, leave whatever rating you want to. Just rate me up. I don't care. I just want to be seen in front of more people. So that's the important thing right there. Also, guys, if you are doing any of that, those are the only 2 places I can really track any of it. If you're doing it on any other platform, I'm not going to know. I mean, feel free to do it. I'm not going to stop you. I think it's great. I just may never see it. But if I do, I'll give you a shout out if I do. Also, I'm on all social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I do this every frickin' week, 3 times a week, and I still trip over what platforms I'm on. It's ridiculous. Okay, so let's get into this Ask Me Anything, okay? We have a few really good ones this week. I'm pretty excited to answer some of these, so we'll get going. Big man Brian over here, Brian Ignash, I think. I probably mispronounce it every week, but I love the fact that he still hits me up with questions. He goes, he says, I think 5 bowl games have been canceled, so his question is, do you think there will be any chance that the playoffs get canceled? I don't think so now, only because these breakouts started happening earlier in the month, so it allowed teams like Michigan or Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia to take the appropriate steps to distance themselves from the problem. I know Dax Hill is rumored to have some type of COVID thing, but I think 1 out of 4 teams, with how many people are on each team, I think that's pretty good considering how contagious this most recent strain is of COVID. So I don't think so. Oh, I guess Alabama's had a few coaches and stuff, and so I guess there's some concern. I guess it would suck if it did, though. I think we're so close now. I don't see it happening. Because it's SEC time, man, and I know one thing: the SEC conference didn't cancel any games last season, and that was in the heart of it all. So if they're not, I guarantee you, Alabama, even if they're riddled with COVID, ain't gonna say nothing. And Cincinnati, maybe. Georgia ain't going to say shit, and I think we're good, because I know how strict Harbaugh likes to keep things. So I don't see it happening, but, I mean, crazier things have happened, I guess. 2, if Michigan and Georgia do play, what is your prediction of number of starters out due to COVID for each team? I don't think any. I even think Dax Hill, he may not start only because he's been gone for the whole week. So, but I think he'll even be in, make the game, because I think there's rumors that he's on his way to being down there anyway. So, I don't see any starters being out. Like I said, that also is a SEC thing. They're so close to winning a national title, Bama or Georgia. I don't think they're going to do anything to screw that up. So, I'm going to say 0. Well, okay, I'll say 1 only because Dax Hill is considered a starter, so I'll say 1 will be out. But outside of that, I don't think any will miss. Thank you, Brian, for the questiones. Big Smoke, he always sends me good questions, so I love it. I think Georgia is going to try and exploit the mismatch of their All-American tight end with our linebackers, especially Ross. So how does McDonald counter that? See, now, linebackers are hard to cover, right? Because, I mean, most of the time, you can double, and you can shift coverages over to mess up wide receivers and things of that nature, right? I think thankfully Ross is in the middle, so he will not have to guard uh, Bowers. But that's why I said Barrett, Michael Barrett's. I'm hoping he has a big game, because if Michael Barrett has a big game, I think he's going to be the one who's going to have to guard Bowers out of the linebacking crew. You probably see some Junior Colson as well. I think what we're going to have to hope for is just that our defensive line gets home and really makes things uncomfortable for Stetson, because if they do, it doesn't matter. Because even if, I mean, look how Alabama rolled, absolutely rolled in that game. But I think Bauer still had like 7 receptions for 130 yards or something like that. I might be wrong on the receptions, but I think the totals are true, and the guy was a beast in that game. So he can still be a beast as long as we shut down everything else, like the run game. I think we're good. Um, but I would think the only way you're going to be able to do it is if Dax Hill is available. I think you put him on that. R.J. Moten can do it. I just don't know if you want somebody as young as R.J. Moten going up. Well, the kid's a freshman too, but he doesn't play like it. So we'll see. I mean, R.J. Moten could do it. Dax Hill could do it. Barrett could do it. You're going to see it. I think the three amigos right there as the 3 that really pay the most attention to that kid. I mean, that's how I would do it, but I mean, trust me, I'm sitting in my closet doing a podcast. I'm not a defensive coordinator, but if it was up to me, that's how I would do it. Um, let's see here. 2, how was your holidays? My holidays, we're all right. I mean, I worked a lot. I worked a lot. I mean, this is when you make a lot of money in my business, only because of overtime and things like that. So it was fantastic on that area. I was able to get my son to help him with a lot of his housewarming stuff, which I love to do. So that helped. That was like a real encouraging thing. I miss seeing him. That's really about it, because I mean, I've grown not to see my family over these months, so that doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, it's always sucky, but it's not something that makes me sad, because I've been doing it now for, over a decade probably. But my son not being home now for the 3rd year. Well, no, I saw him last year too, so this is like the first year where I really haven't been able to see him for Christmas. So that was a little bummer. That was a little bum me out. But I talked to him a lot, so I was okay with that. Thank you for asking, by the way. Appreciate that. David Mays, my main man. This Dax Hill shit spread like like wildfire, but I don't think it's true. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. It makes all the sense in the world. I mean, it's obvious that something. Oh, I would hate to think that it's something else. You know what I mean? In all reality, I'm hoping it's kind of COVID, because this strain is super weak. It only makes you kind of tired and stuff. So I don't think being a top-notch athlete, I don't think he has anything really to worry about. But if it was something else, like he wasn't getting along with the coaches, or he was sitting out because he wants to go to the pros, that would kind of suck. Even though I would never stop anybody from making any money, or like criticize them for that. So I'm hoping that it's just a light COVID case, and then that's it. His question is, what do you see as Georgia's biggest weakness that we can exploit? To be quite honest with you, I think there's 2 things that we can exploit. And I think it's their defensive backfield. I know there's been a lot of talk about how good they are. I haven't seen it. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. No, there's no position on Georgia that sucks, right? There's not one position. They are really, really good. But if you had to pick one of the 3 levels of their defense that is vulnerable, it's going to be their defensive backfield. Only because they've lost 2 cornerbacks to the NFL, I think, last season. So these kids that are starting now, I think one's a transfer portal kid, and the other one is like a sophomore or something, I think. And they didn't look great against Alabama. But Alabama has amazing wide receivers. We don't have slouches either. So that's why I think we can really take advantage of that. Because we can hit you with 3 or 4 different wide receivers that do three or four different things, and it's just something you just can't. They're not cookie cutter wide receivers, so it's going to be hard to pay attention to them. Roman Wilson to AJ Henney to CJ. We all seem to forget about it. Sainterstill's having an amazing season. He just keeps getting better every stinking game. And then even Andrew Anthony. So you got short to speed to tall to lanky. You got all mid speed. You got all sorts of stuff going on there. So I think the defensive backfield is something we can take advantage of. And I really do think if we just press them a bit and we get Jordan Davis tired, we can take advantage of that front line. I think we can. I think with some of the inside runs, you don't want to do that all the time, right? We don't want to get into that stubborn Michigan baloney, but we haven't been doing that all season yet, or half the season. Yet everyone in the media just keeps talking about how we just jam it right up the middle. I think, though, to be quite honest, if we get them in a pace where they wear down, I think we can start using some of that to our advantage. I think you set the pass up, you do the pass and set up the run, and I think with a little bit of pacing, not even where we have to go outside of what we normally do, but just speed it up a tiny bit, and I think we can take advantage of it. But I definitely think the defensive backfield is the thing that we want to take advantage of. Or can exploit. All right, Peter, my main man, Pete, always sending in some good questions. Does Georgia's defensive line concern you? Yes, but like I've been saying, all of Georgia's defense concerns the hell out of me. Their linebackers are ridiculous. Their front four is so impressive, but they're so big. If you could just wear them out, like I've just been saying over and over, this you can just get to them. If you can get them to rotate just enough. Oops, I hit my mic there. Sorry, guys. I think we can take advantage of it. But yes, right off the bat in the first two quarters, they scare the hell out of me. They absolutely do worry me. 2, what is your pregame meal before watching Michigan football? Easy. I go and I buy this frozen pizza here in Austin. I'm traditionally not a frozen pizza guy, but this one is really, really good. It's Midtown Pizza. It's phenomenal, actually. It's like DiGiorno, but better in my opinion. Any one of the Midtowns you get is fantastic, real good. I usually get the uncured pepperoni or something like that, or the sausage and peppers one. Fantastic. Then I cut up extra pepperoni and throw it on there because I like my pepperoni sticks. Like I cut them up and then put it on there. Really adds a nice flavor to it. And then I cut up jalapenos as well. And then I just drink uncontrollably. Actually, to be quite honest, I optimize my drinking now. So what I do is I get like 3 to 4 huge, 24-ounce cans of Budweiser Platinum, like the mixed berry and all that stuff, because it's 8% alcohol. So you can really hit it hard, and then you can coast out of it by the end of the game, and you're feeling okay, and you don't have to be hungover for the next day. So that's what I do there. That's how I handle it. Number 3, did you enjoy Navy beating Army? How's your son doing? Tell him that I said thank you for his service. I will absolutely tell him that. I always love it. Even one of my biggest haters, Fuad, and I know Fuad, you're listening. Even my biggest hater, he always gives my son props, and I always appreciate it. So that's why I can't hate Fuad that much, because he's really just always says nice things about my son. So as a father, I can hate that. I will totally do that. It was actually a really good game, Army and Navy. So I obviously enjoy it. You know what's funny is I was more invested in Navy winning than my son. My son is just he is not a traditional sports guy. It just isn't. As much as I would love to have that happen, it wasn't to be. It's the one thing that bums me out. But he's so amazing, so many other things, and I never wanted to press my son to love something that I loved. I wanted him to do it on his own. So I can't really complain if he just didn't choose it. So But I enjoyed it. I always love watching Army-Navy game. That reminds me of being a kid growing up, and always it was like a sad moment because you just knew that that's when regular season college football was over, and then you had like a month before the bowl games, right? Because we didn't have playoffs back then. We actually had the Associated Press and the coaches poll deciding who were the national title winners, you know. So I always love that. It's just a nice little blast from the past, a little nostalgia, you know. Um, let's see here. What was it? Oh, that was it for Peter. Now, Mr. B, a brand new. Well, I think he's been a fan for a little bit, but a brand new question sender. I guess if that's the way you say it. Um, do you think our new recruiting coordinator, Albert Karsishian, I think, maybe I'm wrong, I probably butchered that name, was a calculated move to better recruit the state of Michigan? Um, Probably. I mean, let's see, it says, by bridging the gap between Michigan and local high schools, do you think we would have been better off with someone from the state of California, oh no, from Texas or Florida? To be quite honest with you, um, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if it was so much to bridge or to solidify things in Michigan because with oh, what's the guy's name? Oh man, I hate the fact I can't remember this guy's name. The coach that's coaching the safeties, head coach. He was head coach at high school for Donovan Edwards. I'm gonna punch myself in the face because it's gonna be so easy. I can't remember the guy's name. Oh my God, it's killing me. It's right on my tongue. Oh well, Bellamy, Ron Bellamy, right? Like you can tell me. Bellamy. With him, with that hire, I think that was going a long way to solidifying strong grounds in Michigan. Um, I don't know. I don't know much about this guy. I know he was with Harbaugh at the beginning of his coaching career here at Michigan, so I really don't know much about what this guy does. I just, to be honest, I'm just going to let Harbaugh pay and hire whoever he wants because after the solid hires he's made this season, I mean, I just don't want to doubt the man anymore. So whatever that guy brings to the table, I'm sure it has to be something amazing because I don't think Harbaugh would have hired him. Um, I definitely would have loved to have somebody here in Texas or Florida, because I mean, as we all know, they're hotbeds. And I didn't realize how big football. I mean, you always hear how big football is in Texas, but you really don't understand it until you're here. I mean, they play high school football on the TVs, and people gather around and watch it like it's the NFL. I've watched coworkers be like, "Oh, we got Westlake's playing. We got to turn the channel. Westlake's playing." I'm like, "Who the hell is Westlake?" But yeah, it's impressive. So yeah, if we could get somebody who has a decent pipeline into Texas and Florida, that would be great. So I would hope maybe what this guy can do. I'm not sure though. I have no idea who he is. So I hate to be disappointing there, but I have no clue who this fella is. But thank you again, Mr. B. I appreciate it because I know how hard you work, and I've talked to you offline, and I appreciate you taking time out to send me a question or two. Now, one of my favorite names of all time, Johnny Ding Dong, sent me a question. Oh, sent me two questions actually, and this is how we'll close this one out. Is two simple questions. If Georgia wins, what didn't Michigan do? And then if Michigan wins, what did Michigan do right? Um, that's interesting. Well, I've been thinking about it, and I think I also said this in my keys to victory. We need to shut down the run, right? Because I know they have Pickens, and he's a deep threat. I mean, it's hard to tell how good he is because he was hurt for most of the season. But I think if we don't stop the run, that's going to be a huge problem because I view Georgia in the same kind of light that I see Penn State and Michigan State offensively. Now, defensively, it's a vastly different thing. But offensively, I kind of I see them this way, right? Now, Georgia doesn't have a dynamic running back per se, as in like Kenneth Walker. They didn't have one in any of the Heisman Trophy and they didn't win any awards or anything like that, but they're still 5-star dudes. So anytime you have 5-star dudes, it's impressive, right? You never know, they can always take it to the house, more than likely, because they're 5 stars for a reason. So if Michigan loses is because we didn't stop the run, then which that allowed Bauer to really take off. You know what I mean? And then that opens up their pass game. So if we don't stop the run and we don't pressure Bennett, because I just heard this on a podcast the other day. Bennett has been pressured 63 times this season, and in that, he has only thrown 13 complete passes out of those 63 times he's been pressured. So he doesn't do well with pressure. Like I said, he's a poor man's Sean Clifford. And that's why this offense kind of really reminds me of Michigan State and Penn State, is because they have a semi competent quarterback who has a decent downfield ball, like both Clifford and Numbnuts from Michigan State have. I can't even remember Peyton Thorne, that dork. So they both do that. I mean, if you allow them to sit back there, they can pick you apart. The only thing that Penn State and Georgia both don't have, fantastic running games. Georgia has a much better running game than Penn State, but still it's not dynamic. So that's why I think that's how we lose. If we don't stop the run, Georgia beats us, in my opinion. And also, that's defensively. Offensively, if Michigan gets stubborn, like 2018-2019 Michigan, which I don't think is going to happen. I have changed my viewpoints of Josh Gaddis and the way he's grown recently, and just over the last 3 or 4 games where we were in the red zone. Every time we're in the red zone, touchdown. That right there proves growth. But that's what I would say is offensively, if we get stubborn and we go back to, well, we're just going to run it down your throat type thing, we don't care what we do, that's what we're doing. And it's just like right up the middle or off tackle, and it's not working, that kind of thing. That's how we lose. Now, if Michigan wins, what do? Well, we get pressure. I would say if Ajabo and Hutchinson do what they did to Clifford, and I'm talking like if you see I say if Hutchinson and Ajabo have 3 sacks in the game, and I think that comes with about 10 pressures, I want to say. 3 sacks and 10 pressures. I think that in itself will change things, right? I think we can win the game off of that. 2, if we shut down Bowers, because I don't think we shut down the running game, because like I just said, if the running game does something, we're screwed. So we shut down the running game, which then we shut down Bowers. I think that, and we pressure Bennett. I think pressuring Bennett then stops Bowers from having a great game. It's all contingent on that one thing. We stop the run, we stop Bennett, boom. I think we win this on the defensive side, right? Offensively, we do what we've been doing against Iowa, against Ohio State, is running the same formations, but having 3 or 4 different plays come out of it, and we set them up 3 to 4 plays ahead of time for another thing. We keep them guessing. We confuse the defense. We hit them with a very variety, and we involve all of our running backs, because you can say a lot of things about Georgia's defense, right? They are dynamic in every way. They're very dynamic. And they are a great run defense. They've played some really good running teams and some really good running backs. Like Missouri had a very good running back who's 3rd in the nation, I think. But the one thing you don't understand, or what we don't take into account for sometimes, is why did they stop running the ball? Right? I use this example a lot. Look at how Ohio State, Michigan State, how that game went. Yeah, they have Kenneth Walker, and if that game was close, maybe Kenneth Walker could have done something. But because Ohio State just blitzkrieged that team and was up 49, they were up like 28 to nothing in a blink of an eye, now Michigan State can't run the ball. Now they have to pass the ball, right? And I got a feeling that's how a lot of those games with Kentucky and Missouri and Florida and all these things kind of went. I think Georgia got ahead 10, 12, maybe even two scores, like 14, even 17 points. Now you can't run the ball anymore. Now you got to pass the ball. So I think the numbers could be misleading in how good of a run defense they are, just because I think their offense jumped on these teams so early that the other team panicked and didn't feel comfortable running the ball, so they had to start passing it. That would be my guess. So if Michigan runs the ball well, if they show variety offensively, if they keep the Georgia defense guessing, even for 1 to 2 beats more than what they normally would, just trying to figure out, is this the same play? What is this? What are we looking at? Boom. Just two beats. Bop, bop, done. We've got real game breakers. And then defensively, we stop the run. We panic Bennett. I think we win this game. And I think this is all very possible. I mean, you read anything and you listen to any of the Georgia podcasters, they talk about how they aren't in love with two position groups on that team, the defensive backs and the offensive line. I think those are the two things that we can exploit. And when you have Ojabo and Hutchinson, pretty amazing. And then you got Chris Hinton now starting to play the best football he's been playing ever since he's been at Michigan. I'm telling you, this could be like I said, we could win this by 10 points. We could literally win this by 10 points if those things come true. If not, I don't know, man. It's going to be scary. It's going to be a closer game than I imagined, and who knows. Or we could just shit the bed and they can beat our ass. Who fucking knows? I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think Michigan is just too focused right now. But I think that's it, though. So that's how we do it. I'm going to end it on that one. Thank you guys so much for sending the questions in. I love it. This is always one of my more favorite episodes to do. I'm just happy we're doing it so late in the season. It is fucking amazing. I love it. This is awesome. So guys, it's great. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. We're only, 2 days away? 2 days away. Oh, God, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Just 2 days away from their first fucking playoff game. So special. So let's hope nothing bad happens. Everything goes well. Dax comes back. Everything's good, and we just kick the shit out of them. I would love it if we did what we did to Iowa to them, and I could sit back and relax and just know we're going to the national title game. That would be sweet. But whatever it is, guys, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It is, and always and forever, guys. Go blue.